So everyone has attended the orientation session. Post that, we've had four learning sessions. As I said, one was hosted on 15th. That was the 9 factors that make the startup fundable. For those of you who were not able to attend that session and still want to see a recording of it, please get in touch with Afrin or Shruti. They will help you provide that. I think they've also shared a link of the recording on the group itself. It's important for you to go through these sessions and the learnings that are part of it, because after these sessions are over, 28th of July is the deadline for you to resubmit your pitch decks. You can make improvements to your pitch decks based on these learning sessions and then resubmit it for the competition. After that, August 5th will be online semi-finale. From August 7th to 14th, there will be one-on-one mentoring sessions. And finally, the chapter finale will happen on August 21st. This is a broad timeline for all the participants. Please be cognizant of it. And in every session, try to take as many notes as possible to go on improving your pitch deck. Having said that, I will just quickly also introduce Neetu here with us, our mentor for today. So it's my absolute pleasure to introduce her to all of you as India's one of the leading sales coaches for MSME entrepreneurs. With over 35 years of rich experience in business, sales, coaching, and mentoring, Neetu has helped numerous businesses across manufacturing, distribution, B2B products, and service industries build high-performing sales teams and scalable sales systems that drive accelerated growth. She has closely been associated with some of India's most prestigious entrepreneurship and innovation platforms, including IIM Bangalore, NSRCL, BITS Pilani, IIT Bombay, T Hub, NEN, Wadhwani Foundation, CII, FICCI, and various MSME networks, where she has mentored and guided countless entrepreneurs on their growth journeys. We are truly privileged to have you here. Join us today, ma'am. And I also, personally, as one of the founders, look forward to hearing from you and being mentored. So the
Thank
stage is
you.
all yours, ma'am. Please proceed ahead.
Thank you, Ria. Thank you so much for time for this. So I think one of the reasons I was also very excited about doing this session for all of you all is quite often I sit on the other side judging pitches. I do that a lot with for IMB here, Bangalore. So they have some couple of women entrepreneur programs, and including the Goldman Sachs 10K. So invariably, I am judging the pitches before they join the program, at the middle of the program, and at the end after they have finished the program. So a lot of the learnings that I'm going to be sharing with you comes from having judged so many pitches and understanding what information as a judge, um, including giving recommendations to the investment body that whether we should or we should not invest in this organization. All of that is I'm trying to culminate into today's quick workshop. Okay. I will also be sharing the slides with the TiE team, so don't worry about taking screenshots. You will have all of this with you. So shall we get started then? Okay, you'll have to stop sharing and allow me to share my screen. Thank you. Since we've already got my introduction, I'm going to jump right down to the work that we are going to be doing today. Okay. How many of you feel nervous the moment we talk about numbers? As mathematics, look at how will your numbers show your expertise, your experience, and the way that you are running your business. And actually, if you see, investors are also not just asking whether you are very good with Excel, whether you're good with calculations. What they're actually asking, and they're trying to figure out, is do you understand your customer? Do you understand the revenue? Do you understand the trajectory of your business? Are you capable? Are you making the right decision for your organization? Because ultimately, That is what you're going to be doing with their money, right? So that is what they're evaluating. So for us, the moment we think about that, we're thinking about, okay, how do I showcase the way I have grown my business using numbers? Okay, and that's what we're going to try and do today. So to begin with, there are just three stories your numbers have to tell. What are they? First one is the market story, the market in which you are operating, and the investors, the judges, what are they looking for is the opportunity that you have identified worth pursuing. Next one is a revenue story. Most of you here are at a revenue making stage. So we are looking at what is your revenue of not just whether you are able to make money, but what is the trajectory of that revenue. And that's what I'm going to show you some beautiful ways in which you can show this. And then the last one is the funding story. How much money do you require, and what will you do with that extra capital if that is available for you? So if you look at this, these three are also what they are measuring is, do you know whom you're selling to? Do you know how will you make money when you're selling to them on an ongoing basis? And what will you do if you have extra capital? How will you grow your business, right? These are the three questions, nothing else that the entrepreneur is, the investor or the judge is looking for. So now let's start with the market story. Okay. So here's what I often hear founders telling in the pitch. Okay. There's a huge market. There is a huge opportunity for us. So we are going to be growing fast. But actually, if you see what investors really want to hear is what I already shared with you. Who will you reach? How will you sell? And what can you prove about the market and your business opportunity to them? So as a founder, rather than focusing on the big world outside, if you are able to tell the story, what are these numbers telling, you will suddenly start owning the room. Let me show you this with multiple examples throughout. Okay. So let's look at this. Quite often, the most common way when we're looking at the market, this is what I hear most pitches talk about. First one is the total addressable market. That is the total market out there. For example, we are talking about, let's say Dr. Honey is talking about the uh, the number of cases reported in India with liver and metabolic diseases or ailments. That is the total TAM. That's okay. That's the address that she's looking at. That everybody in the country, let's take for example India only, who could be a potential customer who may be interested in buying what you're offering. That's the TAM. The second one is the serviceable available market. Now, you may not, while we can say that the whole market is there, you may be based out of, since you're based out of Lucknow, you may not be able to maybe address the market which is there in, let's say, Kashmir or Assam, especially if you are working through a lot of reports, etc. You need physical presence. So that is where what you can the size of the market which you can realistically serve based on your own model or your geography. This is especially true for physical businesses where there is a dependency. Physically they need to be present. So while I can sell to everybody, okay, I have limitations where right now I can only serve, because let's say I don't have offices in Delhi, Mumbai, I will be able to serve only in Bangalore. That's the last one is the serviceable, obtainable market, which is basically people whom you are going to target. Okay, which is like saying I'm based out of Bangalore. So right now, for the next 6 months, I'm going to focus only on Bangalore as such. Okay, or South India. That's the market I'm going to track. North India market, I don't know. So this is the most common thing that I hear people say: TAM, SAM, and SOM. And there's a reason, if you notice, the TAM circle which I have created is in black. The moment I hear people telling, my product is something which everybody will use, you are getting into a black box. Like everything, your energy, your time, your resources, your money will get sucked into it because it's so huge. It's like the space. So generally, we do not advise you to look at TAM or at even SAM, but we're looking at SOM. Okay. Shriyanka, I will take questions in a little while because we have very limited time. I'm going to run through some of my slides and then I have places where I'm going to be asking you questions. That's when we can interact. I hope that's okay, Shriyanka. Okay. Now, this is what they all this slide is what you will see a lot of accelerators, incubators also teaching you. Okay, but the reality is, how many of you are comfortable with even talking about what is the TAM, SAM, and so on? We don't even know. I see a lot of organizations coming to me and say, Neetu, I don't even know what is the size of the market. How do you even put that? So we generally point them, there are a lot of government resources. If you go to the Startup India, you will get a lot of reports based on different segments. If you go to Kalari Capital's website, they have a lot of resources available. There's some good resource. If you go to industries which you belong to, there will be a lot of reports over there. All yes, but these reports, to be honest, invariably may sound great, but it doesn't make business logic. Why? I have a lot of people coming and telling me the market is for, let's say, 2000 crores in India. Even if I take 1% of that, okay, that would be 2 crores, 2000 will become 200, 20 crores. 20 crores is my SAM. And from that SAM, if I just take 1%, okay, that will be how much it was, 2 crores, or no, not even 2 crores, less than that, right? So 0.2 crores is what my SOM is. I hear a lot of startups pitching it like that, but then the reality is 0.2 crores is also 20 lakhs. Can you start targeting 20 lakh markets right now? Is that feasible? Is that realistic? Invariably, I see people are like, no, but that's the way we've been taught about this. Okay, so I always felt that this is something which is unrealistic. It looks like a nice slide to have, but it's not really applicable to our business. So I'm generally prefer, and this is what I teach a lot of people. This is which is more realistic. How to talk about the market that you are targeting. So this one earlier is a top-down approach. You look at the bigger market and then you come down to the smaller market which you're targeting. But I like to do the opposite. I like to start with where I am and then grow outwards. And that's exactly how do we do our business, right? We start with where we are and then slowly we grow. As we mature in understanding the customer, the way to run the businesses, understand the challenges, etc., we become better and better, and that's where we are able to grow. So for me, this is exactly what I want to do. And in fact, this is also what investors prefer to hear. So here's how I present it. I present it as a timeline. Okay. Initially, when you're just starting out newly, this is your launch market. Where you say this is the size of the market that this is if you're nothing but your SOM in the earlier slide which I showed. Okay. Size of the market, how frequently your customers purchase from you, and what is the value of that. That's the basic information that we start with. Okay. And I know for many of you, you may not even have this information, and I'm going to show you how to work with that. Okay. So we start with what is your current market. Then there's some timeline. You say, okay, I'm launching with one product. By next year, June, I will be launching another product. Because I have launched a second product, I can now expand into a larger market. Okay. So then that's my timeline for the next year. And then I will add more products onto my portfolio. And because of that, now I can go to a larger size of the market. So I liked this representation because it tells the investor how you are building your business. Remember, I told you at the beginning, investors are not looking at just any number. They're looking at what is your judgment, what is your experience, and what is your expertise in growing the business. And this shows how you will expand the market, and then create a future market for yourself. Okay, so this is a great, whenever I see somebody who has thought through like this, no, this is where I know, okay, these guys are serious about growing their business. They're not just doing this for a short period of time as a hobby कि ये कर दिया आज. You're looking at, okay, if I'm doing this, how will it grow my business in the future? So this is the bottom up approach, which I generally love when the startups are presenting. Okay. Now, what does it mean? If you look at it, the launch market, very simple, plain English. Okay. Who can I reach with my current resources that I have? Okay. Especially if you're a startup, if you just recently started, you may need validation. So this is the place that you will start. And as a judge, as an investor, I'm looking at, okay, this person, she will, if she is being cognitive, that there is a learning in the market that I'm working on. That means she's prudent about the way she's spending her resources, which means time, effort, and money, which I will probably give her in the future. So that's how they're judging you. Okay. Then we have the expansion market, that once you have better capacity, once you have a better understanding, better distribution, that's where the market in which you will be growing over there, right? That's the second market. And then the future market is what will become possible in the future after I have all these things in place. So you may not know too much in detail about the future markets, but you should know the highest number of detailing should be, of course, at the launch market. So keeping this in mind, remember one thing, and I know you guys already know this, right? So the logic is this, as simple as you know that the market is not static. For those of you who've been around for the past couple of years, can think back. How was it when what was the market when you started, and how it's changed now, right? For some organizations, the changes is almost monthly, quarterly, especially the ones who are now focusing where AI has entered. There's almost something new every month that that the market is changing, and then you need to keep adjusting your own strategy based on that, right? So this when our market is changing, so should our approach for that. We can't have us whatever we plan. I see when people tell me, Neetu, this is my market today, and if I continue doing this for the next 10 years, I will this is how my business will grow. But here the market is not going to remain the same for the next 10 years. So, and it's impossible for us to already project and anticipate what is the market going to be in 10 years. Rather than that, this milestone approach will be practically useful for you, whether you go for a pitch or not. It will be practically easier for you. And secondly, of course, the investors also will understand that this person is being a lot more mindful about their growth plans. Okay. So now I'll put a stop, and I'm ready to take questions on the just the first piece, which is your market story. Do anybody have any questions on this? Shriyanka, you had a question?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi. I just wanted to ask you one thing.
Mm.
Like you said, Tom, Sam, and Tom.
Mm.
Is it also applicable in apparel and textile industry?
Absolutely, every industry. What do you do, Shriyanka?
Ma'am, I have a brand for plus size women apparel.
Okay.
And we are catering to from medium to 10XL.
Mm-hmm.
And my brand name is Jonaki.
Got that. So just an example of that. And how long have you been around, Shriyanka? How long has your business been in? Is it like
Ma'am, we started last year.
last year? Okay. So you
Yeah, but initially we were building stories and everything. And this year we started approaching markets functionally, and we are exhibiting. We have started to go for exhibitions and everything.
Got that. Okay, perfect. So which is where I'm saying instead of looking at the time, just to give you an example, okay, we'll use your
Mm-hmm.
example, Shriyanka. If you go
Yeah.
and tell how many plus size women are there in the country, okay? Let's put an arbitrary number and say they are we've crossed 120 crores in terms of population, I think. So let's just say that 20% of that are plus size women. I'm just putting an arbitrary number, don't judge me on that, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that would mean some 24 crore women are plus size. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
what will you do with this number? Is this
Ma'am, this
relevant to
will,
you?
I think demographically, I would first sort out from which region
Perfect.
the number is more, so that I can identify and also understand the colors they love, the silhouette they would go for.
Got that. So, Shriyanka, if I tell you the most number of obese, not obese, plus size women are, I'm just throwing a number. Let's say it's in, let's say, some remote location. Okay. I don't
Okay.
know. I'm just throwing one place, let's say Assam, as an
Okay.
example. Okay. What
Okay.
does it mean to you? Is it relevant to you?
As in, like what?
If I say the maximum number of plus size women are based at Assam, what will you do with that information?
Ma'am, first I would look out for like what is the ratio,
Hmm.
the obese person, and what
Let's
what.
say, it is the maximum there. I mean, I'm just telling you why the Tam, Sam, and Som is not the best
Mm-hmm.
approach. Okay. So if I tell you
Mm-hmm.
out of the 24 crores, the highest number of, let's say, 5 crores are there in Assam. Where are you based out of, Sri Lanka?
I'm based out of Lucknow.
Yeah, Lucknow. Would you start targeting all your resources towards Assam right now? If I tell you that's the market, that's where the highest concentration is.
No, first I would personally look after it. See, is it actually the result is actually intact or not?
ठीक है, good point. So you're going to validate that information. Let's say it's
Yeah.
validated. उसके बाद क्या?
उसके बाद मैम आई वुड ऑल्सो गो थ्रू लाइक कि एक तो वहाँ पे जोग्राफिकली वहाँ पे क्या चल सकता है, लाइक अगर मैं वहाँ पे कॉटन वहाँ पे अगर मैं करूँ तो वहाँ पे वो ज्यादा चलेगा बिकॉज इट्स ह्यूमिड ऑल्सो.
Okay, Shranka, let me hold you on that. Okay, यहाँ पे typically what will happen is that if since you're just launching your product, okay,
हाँ हाँ.
typically the most ideal place will be where you are based out of. Unless you can सब कुछ छोड़ छाड़ के आके असम में बैठ के कर सकते हो, that's a different story because there are businesses who have done that. Right? So you will first see, especially जब नया product, something new, it's a new business. You are going to say, यार असम जाने के पहले मैं देखती हूँ कि लखनऊ या एटलीस्ट एमपी यूपी में मैं कुछ कर सकती हूँ. Because you need to validate कि मैंने जो idea सोच रखा है, the product which I want, the husband, is that going to, are the people going to like the product? Are they ready to pay that amount of money? What is going to be my logistics challenge to deliver? How will I reach out to those guys? All those questions that is there, you'll have to first get clarity over there before going into a market which you don't know anything about. Make sense?
Okay. Sorry, I'm cutting you off. For that reason, we are uh, currently participating in various exhibition in various cities to understand the market.
Perfect. Perfect. And that is exactly what I was telling in my slide, that don't go with a वो टैम सॉम का कुछ मतलब नहीं होता है, especially for a lot of us who are not even a lot of us, for many startups where we are first looking at validating is whatever I'm offering, is there a revenue model that will be beneficial for me or not? And that is why what I shared, the launch market, which one will be your launch market, which one will be your expansion market, and which one will be your future market. That information is more relevant for you than blindly saying, "Acha, theek hai, that's the biggest market, let I go." If that is the case, most of the I work with a lot of tech startups. Most of the tech startups, their biggest market is US. right? But why don't why that, in which case then we should have no tech startup looking at techs looking it into India as a domestic market. But most of them look at India because they have a learning to do. They need to or they don't, or even if they're selling to US, they're focusing from sitting from India. How do I manage that? Before starting up their offices in US. That's the example of a launch market versus a versus a complete TAM SOM market. Okay.
Okay.
ठीक
Okay.
है?
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you. Uh, Vatsala, Ankita, I will come back to you. We have very limited time, so I'm pushing a little bit more, but I'm happy to keep talking after we finish the session. I'll be available if you want to continue talking to me. Okay? Thank you, guys. Thank you. Okay, so let's get back here. Let's look at your second one, which is your revenue story now. So what is your revenue story? Let's look at that. Again, the simplest trick I would tell you is not to go through a very complicated projection, but think about your own business logic. Think about the business and why what you've made your decisions, why you've made your decisions, and that is where the revenue magic comes in. Let me show you an example. Okay, let's say that the investors and the judges want to know how much of revenue are you already making, or how much you will be able to make, whichever it is, right? So what is the logic over there? Simple logic. How many customers are you going to sell to? What is the average bill value, order value? So, and how frequently will they buy from you? That is equal to revenue. Okay. So what is that? So let's say you will say that I want to make 20 lakhs of revenue. So what is that? If I get 500 customers and they buy a product from me, which is a value of 2,000, and they buy it twice in a month, okay, I will be able to get 20 lakhs as a revenue. That's the simple, and I'm sure you guys are already doing this. So keep your logic as simple as that. Show your your investors and your judges exactly what you are, like how will you get that money. Okay. Now, the magic is not in the in the mathematics. Mathematics is very simple. What is the magic? The magic is explaining why are you saying 500 customers? Why are you saying 2,000? And why do you think that it is why is it 2 purchases in a month? Where did that logic comes in? That is where you're showcasing your business logic. That is where you're showing your experience, your expertise. Okay. So let me take this to the next step. This is talking about a monthly revenue. So if you have to do an annual projection, okay, you just simply say, okay, monthly if I'm doing 20 lakhs, then in a year into 12, it becomes 240 lakh, that is 2.4 crores I'll be able to do. That is not realistic. What annual projections is basically telling that every time, remember we said launch market, right? So initially I am doing 2 lakhs. Later on I can do 3 lakhs, because once I've understood, I get some more new products, then instead of 2 lakhs per month I can do 3 lakhs. And if it is after that, by the 7th and the 9th month, it is the season. It's the, let's say the Diwali season is coming in, the Christmas season is coming in, then my revenue will increase to 4 lakhs. So this is the projection that you do. You're doing your projection based on how many customers you are expecting to add per month, and whether the repeat purchases will increase in a particular time. Is there a seasonality for your business or not? When you introduce new products and services, will that increase your revenue or not? So all this is just basic business logic. So this is what the investors are looking for. If you just go and tell them blindly that I'm going to do, I don't know why I got 500 customers. I think Andaza say 500. That's when you lose the room. Okay. So then how do you do that? And I know with a lot of us may not have these numbers. So where do we get these numbers? Is here is what we again, as a judge, this is what I'm evaluating. Okay. Basically, what is the evidence for that 500 into 2 into 2000? What is the evidence that this is a number which is not just, we have not just pulled it out of our brains, but we've done some amount of analysis and then come up with this. So how do you know? What is the logic around that? Is, for example, how many conversations that have you had with customers that is validating that there are so many people who will buy from you. Okay. Next one is if you have done demos and trials. Okay. How many demos have you done? That will show to the customer. How many campaigns have you run? How many what was Shriyanka telling, that how many stalls have you set up, right? And then how many, this is in software saying paid pilots, but how many of them have actually paid you also, maybe initially a little bit, but not the full amount. How many of that is there? And then lastly, how many people have come back and purchased from you again? Did you get repeat business? Did you get reference? Now, when you give them this information, okay, the judges or the investors, now they are becoming more confident that you are putting those numbers based on certain evidence that you have calculated. So whenever I see, as a judge, when I see somebody making a pitch and telling me, so this is the TAM SAM SOM, and out of that, if I do only 1%, I know that they have not considered a lot of the realistic side of business. And then that is when I ask them, what is the evidence? How do you know that you will be able to even reach out to those 1% of the market? Okay. So other than that, and when they tell me that, okay, no, I spoke to so many customers, this is the what happened, then I know they've done the homework. Now I'm more confident that their numbers look better or their numbers are realistic. When they tell, no, I don't know, I just did based on 1% of the market, that means they have not gone and got the real story from the market. That is where you lose the confidence of the investors or the judges. Okay. Here's another way in which you can also share the story of just one customer. Okay. Let's just say, you will say that if one customer pays me 2,000 rupees and it takes me 900 rupees to serve the customer. What could it mean? This would include, for example, your product cost, your packaging, delivery, whatever cost that comes to serve the customer. Okay. And you are spending 300 rupees per customer to acquire them. For example, Shriyanka is doing this one shows, sorry, what was it that you are setting up at the stalls, right? So on an average, per customer, just an andaza, say you're spending 300 rupees per sale for the stall. Okay. And that would mean, what is your the amount of money which remains with you is rupees 800, which is 2,000 minus 900 minus 300 will give you 800. Okay. This is nothing but unit economics. It's as simple as that. Now, the real questions for you is, and these are from just this basic information, you will now start getting more revenue numbers which your investors and your judges are looking for you for. First question, can you acquire these customers at a sensible cost? Okay. What is the cost we are here? What is the amount that we are spending to acquire the customer? Anybody? It's this one amount you spend to acquire 300. This 300 rupees is called your cost of customer acquisition. How much money are you spending to acquire this customer? So if you're running ads, then the cost of the ads divided by the number of customers that you have got. If you've spent 10,000 rupees in the ads and you've got 100 customers, what is the cost per customer? What is the CAC per customer? Anybody? You've spent 10,000 rupees in an ad, and from there you've got 100 customers. So how much, what is the cost per customer that you're paying? Anybody? Guys, you want to put it in the chat or tell me?
100 customers?
100 customers. Yeah. Simple logic, right? Simple business logic. That's the cost of customer acquisition. Okay. Now, in case you're spending money on ads, 10,000 and another 5,000 in a stall, that's total expenses is 15,000. And out of this 15,000, you've still got only 100 customers. Then your cost of customer acquisition now becomes 15,000 divided by 100, which is 150 rupees. Okay, so that is a simple logic that is there. Now, next question the judges are wanting to know is, can you serve these customers without losing more money? So a lot of people, especially if you look at all the Flipkarts and Amazons, the more customer they are serving, the higher the higher their cost of service. They're actually losing money initially for a couple of years, and no investor wants to spend that kind of money for an idea which has not yet been validated. So that's what they're seeing, whether uh, can you add more customers, and when you're adding more customers, you shouldn't be losing money. Okay. So what are you looking at? Cost to serve, which is a 900 rupees. How much is it taking? It's simple logic. If you are spending 900 rupees to, let's say, uh, make a kurta, a set, okay, that's your cost that is there. It's including your packaging and delivery, etc. Okay, that's your cost to serve. Tomorrow, if you today you are manufacturing 100 units. Tomorrow, if you have to manufacture 10,000 units, what will be the cost? Will it increase or will it reduce? In some businesses, it increases. In some businesses, it reduces. So they want to know what is your calculation. Okay. And then they also will want to know typically what is the three major cost heads. Where are you spending the maximum money? In my example of a salwar kurti, there is the biggest cost is going to be on the labor cost and the material cost. These are going to be there. Okay. So material cost, the more you buy, the better you can negotiate and get better prices. But labor costs will keep adding, right? Just because you're hiring, instead of one, you're hiring 10 karigars, it doesn't mean the cost of the labor per karigar will reduce. That doesn't happen, right? So the labor cost will not reduce. It will increase with your number of units that you're doing, right? So that's the part they wanted to know. And then last one is, what's your gross profit, which is your revenue minus the direct cost directly, which is getting into the product, which is 2,000 minus 900, 1,100 is your gross profit. That's the numbers that they are looking for. All of it coming from this one single slide. The last one question that they are looking at is, can we make more from each customer over time? This is where they're looking at something called, what is the average revenue per customer, which is called ARPU. Okay, this is total revenue divided by number of customers. So let's say you've sold 50,000 rupees worth of products, sorry, and you have sold it to 50, you've sold it to 50 customers. That means it's approximately 1,000 rupees per customer. That's your average revenue per customer. Simple calculations that is over here. Okay. And then the second one is lifetime value. If this customer keeps coming back and buying from you from the next 5 years, then how much will you earn? So that 1,000 rupees into, let's say 5 years, they're buying every year, they're buying from you twice a year. That would be 1,000 rupees into 5 years into twice a year. So 1,000 into 5 into 2, which is 5,000. That's about 20,000 rupees is what you're coming up with. So 1,000, 5,000 into, yeah, 5 to, correct. 5 to 10,000, sorry. So the lifetime value of the customer is 10,000. These are all simple numbers. If you do a Google search, you'll get the numbers. What I'm trying to show to you is not the calculations of how to do it, but how just knowing these four numbers on the top will give you all your other data that you require. So you don't have to worry, because this four data points is something which represents your business logic. You're anyway calculating that, right? So this is just these four numbers will give you all the other numbers which your investors or the jury is looking for. Now, if you see, what did we do? We looked at what is your monthly and 12-month revenue projections. We looked at major three costs. We looked at what is your gross margin. We can also look at what does it cost to acquire per customer. How much revenue will you make from per customer in a month or a year? And lastly, how much revenue can you expect one customer to generate with you over their lifetime? Basically, lifetime here will be whether you will, let's say that you're expecting the client to be with you for 3 years and buying regularly for you, then how much money will you make? Okay, so I'm just keeping this as very simple. Again, I'm going to stop here and let's talk about what are the queries that is there. Do you have any questions now on the revenue story? If you look at it, I'm playing down the numbers. I'm focusing on what is my storytelling. What is it telling me that if I want to earn 20,000 rupees, how many customers, based on my current numbers, how many customers should I be serving? How many customers should be buying from me? On an average, what is the average bill that is there, and how frequently, if they buy from me, will I make that money? It's simplified logical thinking, which anyway we are doing it. But when we try to present it using all those acronyms, CSE, LTV, that's where we start, worrying. So my suggestion is get these four numbers and understand the logic behind that, and you will be able to answer all the questions that your judge or the investor has. So now, do you want to share and if you have any query on this part of it, on the revenue story? No? Guys, I
Hello.
know I'm rushing through, so if it's not clear,
Hi.
tell me, I'll slow
Please,
down.
Neetu, can you just tell me, please, if this is applicable to TiE as well? Because we are like, we get annual subscription, we have dedicated customers, right? If we, yeah, and if we are like vouching ki we will be able to make a difference. It's like we know that we have so much scope of tapping the market, right?
So Samya, the
So
question
how
here
do you
is,
suggest what should we our pitch
yeah,
be like?
the question is the revenue numbers, right? We're not talking about we're not talking
Yes,
about the social impact that you're creating. Okay. Social
yeah,
impact will, again, you can use the same logic to build the social impact. But right now, as an investor, unless I want to make a difference in the social
yes,
space, I will be thinking, if I'm giving money here,
huh.
how will I make money?
Yes, that is what
Okay.
I'm saying.
So in which
Uh,
case, for you
hmm,
would be number of subscriptions, average
hmm,
subscription value, okay?
huh, huh.
And if your subscription is monthly or annual, uske hisab se you will calculate and will say how much revenue can I earn year on year, okay?
Yes, and if you want to expand online, then
Hmm.
that is also one very good, like the wire.
So
They're
there
telling,
your
yeah, online,
cost to serve will change.
huh,
Okay,
huh.
remember, because your cost to serve in physical is different, because you have the
Yes,
printing
of
cost,
course.
but in online you have your software cost, all of those things will come in over there, right?
Yes,
So
yes,
the cost to serve will change based on, and then even your per customer revenue will change, because physically what you will be charging them for a physical magazine, you may not
yes.
charge them. Generally, the
For
logic is
subscription, huh?
for
Online.
for an online, it will be cheaper. So there that number will
Yeah,
change.
yeah.
So because of that, your entire calculation, which is right now based on physical, will change, will have small,
Huh.
small changes which will impact your revenue part, total revenue. In
So
fact, if you
I
look
should
at,
be prepared as how should I prepare my
I'll show
pitch?
you. I'll show you what we
Online
need to
based?
do. I'll show you one. Okay. One
Okay.
way for you to do, Soumya,
Okay.
is to look at the timeline which I showed you, right? You can say that
Huh, right.
till now,
Huh.
what was
Huh.
that? Our launch market was a physical market. Okay. In the
Okay.
physical market,
Okay.
this is how much we earned, we made money, etc., etc. Okay.
Huh. Huh.
Now,
Huh.
what
Huh.
we are
Huh.
looking at, let's say by this is
Good.
July, but let's say by July 31st, we will introduce our digital market, okay, our
Huh. Huh.
magazine,
Huh.
and then for the next
Huh.
3 months, okay,
Huh. Huh.
the launch market from our digital. This is what we are thinking based on our learning from the physical
Huh.
market. This is what we are thinking will happen, okay.
Okay.
That's how you will
Okay.
show that, and then the numbers will change accordingly. I'm going to show you one more thing which will be useful for you,
Yes. Yes.
so
Yes.
that will also help you out.
Okay.
Just give me a moment. Okay. Aside from this number,
Yes.
the confidence with which you tell the number, because we're making a lot of assumptions that you don't know. You're assuming just because physically they have purchased like this, or online will also follow a similar logic.
Hmm.
Okay. So
Hmm.
here's what you can do.
Yes.
Be very
Yes.
honest when you're presenting to the investors or the judges
Yes. Yes.
that this is
Huh.
an assumption. We believe that this is what will happen.
Hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
Because of XYZ reasons. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Then the reason why? Because this is the evidence. Remember the evidence slide I had shared earlier, right? Because
Okay.
we've had
Yeah.
these conversations, we've done some pilots,
Huh.
we have done the research in the market, and
Yes.
but there are some pieces which we still don't know. So we
Hmm.
will go and validate it in the next 3 months or X number. Let me show this with an example. Let's say you're telling that my annual projected revenue is going to be 24 lakhs.
Okay.
Okay. You
Okay.
will say we are expecting to reach 100 customers. Okay.
Okay.
Out
Okay.
of, and we know this because currently our first 20 customers have spent around 2,000 rupees a month. This is the evidence that we've got.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
But we still need to test whether we can acquire and retain the next 80
Hmm.
based on the same lot. So for you, it will be when it comes to a digital magazine, we are
Hmm.
expecting to reach, let's say, 1,000 customers,
Hmm.
okay, in the
Okay.
next 3 months. This
Okay.
is based on our experience with the physical magazine and a discussion with some, let's say, we've spoken to our 100 customers who are or about the digital thing, and we assume that they will sign up for it. And this is the value that this is the monthly subscription fee that they will pay. Okay. But
Okay.
I still have to validate if the conversion, that if I reach out to 1,000 people,
Okay.
will 20% of them get converted? That is where I
Hmm.
need to still get validate. I need to validate that information. Maybe I'll run an experiment, maybe I'll run one campaign and see the result before I
Okay.
finalize on this number.
So
This is
we
how you
stand a
present.
good chance, no? We shouldn't be like overwhelmed. We do stand a good chance,
Soumya, I don't know
as
whether
equal as anybody else.
Soumya, I don't know whether you stand a good number because I haven't heard your numbers yet. Okay. But
Okay.
what I'm showing you here is even when you're not sure of your number, be honest and tell them that I'm
Hmm.
not sure. We are assuming this. We
See,
have
we
some
sell
evidence.
15,000 copies per month.
Hmm.
Out of
And
which 400 we have to 4,500 we have to give to government offices for free, and the rest are sold. Out
hmm.
of which 40% we have to 40% of the MRP of each magazine has to go to the agent, agent,
Hmm.
Samya,
right?
sorry, I'm really sorry if I'm interrupting. But just for the sake of the session,
Correct.
and we are a little short on time, my request is if you can just send these numbers to Neetu ma'am separately,
Sure.
one on one. And once the
Okay.
session is over, I think you can have a quick chat with her on this.
Because
She'll be
ma'am
able to
is
guide you better.
yes, ma'am is being able to understand my issues, no, and she's being able to explain to me very well.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think you should definitely have a one-on-one chat with her after the session. So because right now we are just short on time, all the other participants are there. We need to complete this.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Ria. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so thank you for that, Ria. So what I'm going to ask each one of you is, when you're looking at your current pitch deck, look at which numbers in your pitch deck are assumptions. You become cognizant, and I truly believe this is something that you also own it in front of the judge. This is where I'm assuming I need to validate that. Be honest, because as a judge, I'm also seeing with what confidence are you telling. If you're lying about it, if you're not done your work, I'm able to catch that as such, because there is no evidence behind the numbers that you're giving. So make sure that when you're presenting your numbers, if there are assumptions, then you call those assumptions out. Okay. With that, let's move to the next one. So the last one is the funding story. So what are we how much are we asking for, and that's the story that we have now. Okay. So one big advice for you: if you're asking for funds, don't ask for just money, ask for achieving certain milestones. Again, why? Because investors understand you are not you are already looking at using the money in a way in which it is going to generate or create impact for your business. And that is the kind of people that investors want to invest on. So what does it mean? How do you present that? We say we are raising X amount of money, okay, to do ABC things. For example, to market, for developing, for researching, for marketing, etc., or to build technology, so that we can reach. So what's the outcome that you are hoping for? This is the last part which I see a lot of pitches which is missing. Okay. So example is, we need 15 lakhs to acquire 1,000 customers. Okay. So we are X here is 15 lakhs to do what? Acquire 1,000 customers, improve your fulfillment, which is basically your logistics, and reach, what is the impact? 30 lakhs revenue in 12 months. The moment you're telling this, the investor is, simple logic is, if I'm giving 15 lakhs, she's able to earn 30 lakhs. But not just that, because she is improving in logistics and she's reaching out to 1,000 customers, both these things where she's going to be using money is going to help her earn more money in the future. So even if I put this money right now, the chances of her this 30 becoming 75 is going to next year is much more higher. That is what they are looking for. The milestone here is not 15 lakhs. The milestone is reaching 1,000 customers, earning 30 lakhs in 12 months. Okay, so that is that's the logic. When we do this, I see a lot of women entrepreneurs hesitating to talk about money because they feel like, I feel like I'm begging, or I feel like I am sounding desperate. Okay, but the moment you add the last piece, okay, it does 2-3 things. One, it shows your confidence. Two, it shows how far you're thinking about the business. Three, it is showing the investor how he or she will grow their money. Right? So don't just stop with saying, I want this much amount of money because I want to spend on marketing, because I want to pay salaries for my development team so that we can have the technology ready beforehand. Not that is there, but that's not the whole story. What will, if you, after you spend that money, what is the impact of that is actually what the investors are looking for. With that in mind, what is the last piece of the financial snapshot, which is your funding ask? Okay, how much funds do you want? We've got that clarity. And the best thing right now, guys, because you have done your earlier, remember, calculation, how many customers you want to reach, average how much you want to they will spend from you, how much it will take for you to build that product, and acquire that, you have all those numbers. It's very easy for you to calculate with how much money you need. That 15 lakhs becomes easy because you've done those calculations. Okay. And then how long will this runway last? So if you know already how much money I'm spending right now to acquire a customer, to sell a product. So if I say if you see, we've spoken about I think 900 rupees to build the product and 300 rupees to acquire the customer. Based on that, I can also calculate approximately how long will that 15 lakhs last for me. Okay, this is nothing but what in the funding language we call burn rate. Okay, even if you don't know the word burn rate, or even if you're not familiar with that, all that you need to say is you know how much you're spending, and you know if I get that money, how much money how long will that money last? That is the runway that we're talking about. And then lastly, what are you offering in return, which is nothing but the impact. Offering in return, I will earn 30 lakhs in 12 months and give it to you. That is the offering in return. In some cases, if you're most of you, when you're looking at TiE, it's a grant. So the grant, there is no equity to talk about. So you don't have to worry about that. But so just the grant is the impacts that you're making. In Soumya's case, the impact can be twofold. One is just not just in terms of the revenue that I'll earn with my digital platform, but also the social impact that we will create. But for me, invariably, the social impact comes after we have spoken about the monetary impact. The reason is every investor out there believes that if I give money even for social causes, the way you will use that money and become the fastest that you will become self-sustainable, that will show that the way my money is being used is good. So they are all also, while talking about social impact, they're also figuring out what is the monetary part of it, what is the financial snapshot. You still need to talk about money over there. With that, one more thing I'm going to leave you with, right, is that these numbers, when investors are not expecting you to remember all your numbers perfectly, pat. I know they show that in your Shark Tank, right? But what is even more important is that you know what those numbers are telling. So the moment you own those numbers, you know so much average revenue and so often they're going to buy. All of these information, when you're giving to the customer, to the investor, you will be able to tell it with. And even if you don't have perfect numbers, say I don't know this information, which is where I think that I need to validate that. This is what I am assuming. Okay. With that, here is one practice activity that I would like you all to do. We don't have time for us to do it here, but you can take a screenshot of this and try practicing this amongst if you have a WhatsApp group, share this with each other or with the TiE groups for you to see. It's a culmination of your market story, your revenue story, and your funding story. Okay. We are initially targeting X number of customers. We are expecting an average customer to spend so much rupee per purchase, and they will buy X number of times from me. This will give me a 12-month projection of so much. And this is based on what is the evidence. And I want to raise so much fund, so it will help me achieve whatever is the where you're going to spending that money within X number, achieve whatever impact that you're achieving within X number of months. This is a culmination, if you see, of all the work that we have done. Okay. If we have time now, we can have 1 or 2 people sharing this. But this is my last slide. Like I said, I will share my entire slides with you all so that you can also go through this a little bit more in detail. For now, I would love to hear from you. If there has been any new way that you started thinking about your numbers, I would love to know that. And for those of you who want to with me, you will find me on LinkedIn as Neetu V Bansal, or you can also reach out to me on my website and my email, which is businesscareer.com. I'm going to stop sharing.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for the insightful session. I think we have two quick participants here who raised their hands for questions, so I'll just ask them to address it one by one. Shriyanka, you can go first. After that, Ankita, please address your question to ma'am.
Yes, hi. I just wanted to ask, like, ma'am showed the slide, the last slide, na? 1 minute. I took a screenshot of it. Yes, like we are initially targeting this number of customer. We expect an average customer to spend this much. So, like, currently I'm understanding the demographic and geographically which part of India would be best for me. So, currently, how should I number that?
Go
Like,
back to
what
my that slide where I said your initial launch wala market, right? So the same information, look at the launch market and tell. So where are you starting off with? You're looking at right now. You said you already mentioned that you're traveling across cities to do this, right? So which are the two, three
Yes.
cities that you want to target first? I'm sure, if I tell you that there are about 800 cities in India, you're not going to go to all the 800 cities, right? So which are the first 5, 10, based on your current resources, which are the 5, 10 cities that you're going to be targeting? That's get the numbers for that.
Okay. Okay.
Hmm?
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am, for addressing Shanka's question. I think the presentation was hugely popular. We suddenly have a lot more raised hands. So we'll do this quickly. Ankita, go ahead. Please
Yeah,
ask
hi.
the question.
Yeah. Hi, Neetu ji. I have a
Hello.
question, which is so as an early stage consumer brand,
Hmm.
numbers alone, rarely tell the full story. So, for example, if I have acquired around 500 customers across marketplaces and my pop-ups and exhibitions,
Hmm.
and out of that, maybe I have 100 repeat customers in last year. So
Hmm.
that comes around, like 20 to 25% of repeat orders.
Hmm.
But as per industry, the percentage of repeat orders should be above 30, 30 to 40%.
Hmm.
So, my question to you is, how do I justify? And there are qualitative signals like there is strong customer love, there is repeat intent, there's product differentiation. But how do I like convince during the pitch, that these are the numbers right now, but it's, how
So
do I?
again, back to the fact that, Ankita, how long have you been doing this?
It's been an year, ma'am.
Yeah. So these are your initial numbers.
Right.
Right? So be honest and say, these are my initial numbers. I understand that the market, benchmarks is at 30%, and that is what we are planning to do next year onwards. We're going to target
Right.
that. Be honest about it. And that's beautiful there because you're saying it. That's exactly that's exactly what's going on in your mind also, right? You're thinking
Right.
now, if
Yeah.
20, if I'm at 2025 and the market benchmark is 30,
Right.
you're already thinking, "Ki, how will I reach 30? You're already trying to solve that next goal for yourself, right?
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
the same thing you share that as part of your journey, your the timeline, which is where it
Yeah.
works very well.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Okay.
That solves
Yeah.
my problem. Yeah.
Thanks, Ankita.
Thank you.
So we have Gracie up
Yes.
next. Gracie, please go ahead. Gracie Singh, if you're in call, please ask your question. Otherwise, Vatsala, are you there?
Yes, hi.
Hello.
Go ahead.
Ma'am, actually, I wanted to ask you about when we talk about grants, they also, like, mostly we are taking grants from the government. So they usually look for impact-based startups. So what type of impact should we be focusing upon?
Hello.
Is it primarily just generating employment, or is there anything else that we should also be looking at?
Vachara depends on the grant. Not every grant is focusing on impact, right? It depends on which grant that that you are applying for. If I am applying for a grant which is meant for social impact, then obviously then you talk about that. But if I am like they are, for example, there is the government of India right now is focusing a lot on AI, right? They're supporting a lot on AI. So there the impact is more in terms of people learning and using AI. So if you are as a business owner using it, that itself is enough. So it depends on the grant. I would suggest if you are before you apply for the grant, go read up about that grant. generally with government grants, there is lots of information available telling what are the parameters this grant is going to be looking for. Right? Don't just blindly apply for every, because each apply for each grant is takes a lot of time and effort. Okay.
Right.
Rather than that, select the right side. What do you do, Vatsala?
Ma'am, I work with EdTech.
EdTech, right? So look at specific things on EdTech, and or the if there is a if you're doing EdTech, for example, for the rural areas, then
Yes, ma'am.
rural education related grants is what I would be looking at, right? And there
Yes,
are a
ma'am.
lot of organizations who are doing giving so much of information about grants. Spend your time over there, and do your research before trying to apply for every grant.
Okay, I'll do that. Thank you
Hmm?
so much, ma'am.
Yeah.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes, Gracie.
Ma'am, I have a tech startup. We are working with schools, fostering entrepreneurship, vocational skills in schools and colleges.
Mm-hmm.
So, ma'am, my question is how I'm going to calculate my CAC?
Your CAC is the schools, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So
Yes,
you
ma'am.
so how much of time, and this is like a B2B. So B2B CAC is a little bit more difficult to calculate. But what we generally do is, for example, are you hiring somebody to go out and acquire schools, sign up schools, or you're doing it yourself?
Ma'am, I'm doing it myself
So
only.
right now, except for your time and effort, the CAC there is no other extra costs. Unless, I don't know how you will share this, but there are some schools who will expect you to pay them money to promote your products to their students. Then that could be under some nice diplomatic heading. That's a cost that you're going to be incurring, right? So
Ma'am, okay. Ma'am, sorry, ma'am. We are a service-led business. Actually, matlab, we are provide curriculum on the basis of NEP 2020.
perfect, got that. So that means you the your the cost for you look at the cost to serve first, right? The amount of time it will take for you to create that curriculum, convert it into a lot, because the NEP one is predominantly a lot of focus on arts, culture,
Yes,
application as
ma'am.
such, right? So
Yes, ma'am.
I'm sure creating that content also is also taking a lot of your time and money and effort.
Yes,
Right?
ma'am.
So for you, the cost to serve is going to be very huge. Maybe your CAC may be very low for now till you hire somebody and start paying salaries for that, or you're running ads for marketing. CAC is basically sales and marketing costs.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, so if you don't have sales and marketing costs right now because you're going one to one or directly, keep
Mm.
that is low for you. What will happen for you is when you start scaling, the CAC will increase.
Okay.
Right? The
Mm.
moment
Yes,
you
yes.
hire somebody, the CAC
Mm.
will increase.
Mm.
So at that time, there is a scaling cost, and I showed you, how did you
Yes,
show
ma'am.
the scaling part of it also to your guys. So
Yes, ma'am.
that's how you will use a combination of both of these.
Yeah. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you.
Welcome.
Sure. So we'll just take one last question from Durgyansh.
Mm-hmm.
Durgyansh, are you on call? You raised your hand for a question. Okay. I think he's not there. He's dropped out.
Mm.
So that's it. Are there any other people from the audience who have any questions for ma'am? Otherwise, we can just quickly wrap up the session.
Hi, Ria. Can I ask one question to all of the participants and
Wow.
also to ma'am? Uh,
Okay.
it's just a
Go
question
ahead.
that I had faced problem with like government funding. Like initially, when I was applying for it, and I didn't had because my registration was for like it was done in the year 2023, and I started working over my business on 2025. So there was, of course, in that gap there was no turnover or anything. So that was a very huge issue for the funding thing. And they all were asking, and they still, and because now I've started going to exhibitions, now I have started generating revenue. So my question is like, did anyone else also have faced similar problem like this? Like government is saying that they are going to fund your businesses, but they are, and it has to be collateral free, but they are not, it's not collateral free. They are asking for collateral.
Okay, I don't know the answer for that because I'm not an expert on grants. Okay. Like I said, predominantly I work
Everyone,
with
everyone.
yeah. For others,
Priyanka, I
provide
have something to add here.
Hmm.
So I've been incubated with starting UP, and so there are different type of grants. Like one is collateral free. Collateral free is the loan. You won't get a grant which is collateral free. Okay,
Yeah,
but if I talk
I
about
applied
startup,
for that also.
yeah. So I'm talking about Startup India. I have received a grant recently, which is a marketing grant. So you get in three tranches. So I've received the first grant. However, there are many other grants. Like if you're at early stage, if you're at an idea stage, you can apply for an idea stage grant. If you are at, so you can apply for a sustenance allowance. There are different type of grants as per your stages. So they don't immediately ask for a revenue. And even if like I have applied for marketing grant, what I have showed was a product market fit and a product validation, and I've received the grant. So I can guide you separately over this because this will take time. If you, I mean, I can share the number with you and we can discuss that. Uh,
Yes, please. I would love to discuss.
yeah, no problem. I'll do that.
Okay,
That
thank
was
you. Thank you.
Thank you.
that was a very nice pitch, and Ankita, genuinely.
But
I
this
would
does not
also
apply over here,
love to
no?
hear more details about it from you,
Yeah,
so we'll
absolutely.
definitely connect one on
Yes.
one. But thank you, everybody. We'll just close the session now. And thank you to all the participants. Thank a huge, huge thank you to ma'am. I think all of them loved your session. I continuously could see in the chat box there were praises all over. Everyone connected very well with you, ma'am. Thank you so much. And participants, in case any one of you wants to reach out to ma'am after this to discuss more one-on-one, please feel free to connect with her on LinkedIn. Write her a message there. I'm pretty sure ma'am is very active and she will get in touch with you.
Thank
Um,
you.
thank you,
Thank
everybody.
you,
So
everybody.
we'll, yeah, thank you. We'll close out the call. Um, yep.